Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're in a little village called Shap, which is just north of Kendal. For today's walk, we're going to head out towards Sledale, where there's a reservoir. We're going to go past the reservoir and we're going to head up onto High Street and then drop down to Blea Water Tarn, where we're going to camp overnight. Tomorrow we're going to get up, climb back up onto High Street and then drop down into Ullswater and finish the walk at Glenridding. But I thought before we get into the mountains, I'd just spend a minute to show you around Shap. So come on, let's have a look. The village of Shap evolved along the main route between England and Scotland, with many buildings dating back to the 17th century. Shap War Memorial Hall lies at the centre of the village and hosts community events such as farmers' markets. In 1687, a charter for a market and 3 annual fairs was obtained, and the market hall was built soon thereafter. The first stop on our walk was Shap Abbey, a relatively unknown abbey in the Lother Valley. With the weather looking threatening and a high chance of a sharp shower, I wasn't taking any chances and went for my full waterproof gear. So here we are at Shap Abbey. Hopefully you can see it just nestling there at the bottom of the valley. It reminds a little bit of the drop down into the valley at Fountains Abbey. On the horizon you might be able to just make out High Street, which is where we'll be heading later. Shap Abbey dates from between 1200 and 1540. The monastic life at Shap Abbey came to an end in 1540 during King Henry VIII's suppression of the monasteries. Leaving the abbey, I climbed up the valley and headed across farmland, making my way towards a little village called Keld. Despite it being overcast, the air was warm and humid, and I soon started to get a sweat on. So we're in a little village called Keld, and behind me you can see Keld Chapel, which dates back to the 15th century, just like Shap Abbey. Apparently from 1650 onwards it was used as a dwelling house. Normally you can actually go into Keld Chapel and have a look, but as you can see the roof currently needs repair and so we're not allowed in at the moment, which is a shame. So I've just moved down into Keld, and Keld apparently is a village that dates back to the Roman times. So again, lots of history here. Well, we've just left the little village of Keld behind and now we're making our way over to Sledale. Climbing over to Sledale was indeed wet. With the ground uneven and the long grass damp from the showers, it made conditions underfoot difficult. In the distance, the lime works which supplies lime to the steel-making industry was clearly visible. So we're just climbing up the valley of Sledale. You can see the Howgills over there now, looking quite nice bathed in the sunshine. But we're just going to carry on up to that ridge and then I think that might be lunch. So as you can see, I've made it up onto the ridge and I'm currently having my lunch overlooking Sledale. If you just look slightly to the left, you can see there are showers setting off all across the Eden Valley. It really does look quite ominous across the Eden Valley at the moment. But I'm managing to avoid them so far, so long may it continue. I set off after lunch fearing the worst, resorting to full waterproof gear once more. was great to be on a good path again, and up ahead the weather looked more promising. I don't know if you can see, but there's a path that snakes up between the gap in the two hills, and that's where we're heading. As I crossed into the valley of Mosdale, the sun came out and I was rewarded with great views of Kentmere Pike. I made my way up the valley of Mosdale, taking in the views and enjoying the solitude. The sun was now out and I had the whole valley to myself. It doesn't get much better than this. Up ahead I could see a small remote cottage in the distance. It looked such an idyllic spot to live. So we're now at Mosdale Cottage, which is actually a mountain bothy, and I thought I'd just take you in and give you a look around. See, this is the main room, living room, if you like, and then in here, got somewhere to sleep. It's okay. And then another room here to sleep. So there's space for quite a few people. And then in here you can see there's one more room with a bunk bed. There you go, got all the mod cons. Right, time to get on my way. I was sorely tempted to stay the night at the bothy, but I had another special place in mind to camp, which would soon become apparent. I crossed over from Mosdale into Long Sledale, with Kentmere Pike and Goat Scar both bathed in sunshine and looking majestic. Well, I think it's fair to say we're now at the business end of today's walk. It's all uphill from now all the way up to High Street. But the path looks okay. It's actually a byway, so it's quite well made up. So, not too much scrambling. So I think it should be fine. You can see the path just slowly winds up the mountainside. Hopefully we'll get some views soon to help ease the pain. Well, as you can see, the path continues to climb on and on. If I just switch you around though, you can see this is where we came over from, and then we dropped down following the stream, and you can see the stream making its way down the valley there. At that point we turned right and we've just climbed up this steep hill. So we're now at the turn off the Harter Fell. We're going to take this left turn and head up this climb. So we're just nearly at the top of Harter Fell now. We've got this great view over Hayeswater, but if we just slowly pan round to the left here, you can just see Blea Water at the bottom of High Street, and you can see on the other side a little spot bathed in sunshine, and that's where I'll be camping tonight. So we're now on the top of Harter Fell. As you can see, the showers have all gone and the views are very special. Looking to the west, you can see the skyline's dominated with lots of high mountains. And as you can see, High Street is straight ahead there. In the distance you could just make out Windermere. To the right, Frostwick, Illbell, Yoke and Kentmere Reservoir are all looking stunning. So I've just dropped down from Harter Fell and I'm just sat in the shelter at the bottom of the pass, and the next step is to climb back up to Mardale at Illbell and then onto High Street, and then we'll drop back down and find a place to camp. But it's been a good climb, the views are just incredible, really enjoying this. So we're just now coming to the top of High Street. It's been a long time coming. It looks like these sheep are leading the way. So as you can see, we're now at the summit of High Street. And let's just spin you around. Hopefully you can see Harter Fell there. Across the valley there, I think we're looking at the Helvellyn range, all silhouetted. And then as we look north, you can see Blencathra, Skiddaw. Well, I'm ready for my tea, so I'm going to try and find the path down, get the tent set up, and then make some food. As I descended down from High Street to Rough Crag, I could see my camping spot clinging on to the evening sunshine. A group of unsuspecting deer using the tarn to have a drink took fright and ran off in a hurry. So as you can see, the tent's all pitched. The sun's just starting to go down behind the hills, so it's starting to get cold now. I'm going to go in, get my cooking things out and make myself some tea. So I'm currently just heating up some water for today's mug shot, and this time I've gone for the curry one. And then once I've had that, I'll probably just clean up the pots and head to bed. I have to say, I'm feeling pretty tired after today's walk. But what about that for a view though, eh?